This is such an embarrassment. This is such an embarrassment, but I had to interrupt my Saturday morning to come talk to you about this one. And yes, I'm talking in a hushed tone, and it might sound a bit echoey because I'm in a certain part of the house because my family gathers on the weekends and I'm trying not to wake anybody up. However, this is a situation I had to come talk about this morning. This whole Paula Llewellyn situation is such an embarrassment for the Andrew Holness administration, the party which she belongs to, and it's such an embarrassment for her constituency. I mean, her department, DPP, and her herself as the head of the DPP. It's an embarrassment because it makes Paula Llewellyn seem as if she is somebody who is just hungry for power. She is craving power. Paula Llewellyn has been in her position for a long time, you know. Yeah, so why are you scratching for an extra few years? I'm sure your retirement money is sure. I'm sure it's saved up. I'm sure you're secured in life. Relinquish the position. But now there are talks of going all the way to the Privy Council for this. And now there are talks of appealing this to the highest courts. For what? For an extra year of tenureship? Now let's talk about this, because I know the Vybz Kartel fans want to know, and enemies want to know, what's going to happen now that Paula Llewellyn has found herself in the pickle that she has found herself in. We're going to use this article right here as a guideline, so we put out proper information, but along the way I will be doing my commentary in between, which will make things understandable for everybody, which is what we always do, right? And remember, I stand corrected. If anybody has higher knowledge of anything than I do, you can leave it in the comment section. But I don't listen to Bugo Yaga, so please don't be a Bugo Yaga. All right? All right. The article came out yesterday, broke the internet. Everybody started, SouFlo, you have to talk about this one. I say, go on. Constitutional court ruling. Now, it says that the courts have ruled that Paula Llewellyn's extension to allow her to remain in office is unconstitutional, and it is null and void. Y'all remember when Vybz Kartel went to the Privy Council recently, and the Privy Council said they quashed the sentence, which made it immediately null and void, and then they came back and said he is now an innocent man in the eyes of the law who stands accused of a crime. So Jamaica must now decide at the appeal court level if they want to move forward with a new trial or if they want to vacate the case altogether and just let them free. But it allowed for the life sentence that was hanging over his head and the guilty verdict that was handed down to be null and void. In layman's terms, it means it never happened. In layman's terms, it means it not have no use, right? It can't be held up. It has no legs to stand on. It has no use. It no good. Dash it way. That's what it means. So when the courts came back and said Paula Llewellyn's extension is unconstitutional, that means it's null and void. That means Paula will have to vacate office as head of the DPP for all these years. You understand? Now, I've seen a lot of Vybz Kartel fans rejoicing and saying, yes, Dr. Paula for go down. You know, me not talk nothing bad about that lady there. I'm not, because I still feel like she holds some influence behind the scenes, which we're going to get into in a minute. Them say when you're handing a crocodile mouth, take your time, take it out. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get licked left, right, and center, and you don't know who I lick you, and you're wondering, who did I offend, right? So, with that said, Constitutional Court ruling that Paula Llewellyn's extension, it does not affect decisions that were made by the DPP while she was in office. All right, what does this mean? The case in which Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn, King's Counsel, ruled on or prosecuted during the time she was in office, when she got the second extension, those cases cannot be declared to be invalid under the Constitution. Simply means that those cases that she ruled on will still stand legally under the Constitution because they were before this ruling. So, in short term, for the Vybz Kartel fans them, what this means is she already said she was going for a retrial in Kartel case, and she's going for a retrial regardless. Now, I want you to understand something. The way how the DPP is set up, Paula Llewellyn is not the DPP. A lot of people think that Paula Llewellyn is the DPP. She is the head of a department that is called the DPP, which means the Department of Public Prosecution. And under that umbrella called the DPP, you have 500 and something attorneys, right, that handles all the prosecutions across the country, right? If I got chop a man and I'm head side, the state is going to prosecute me, right? And then me have to go look at attorney to defend myself, and then the state must find an attorney to defend the state and to get justice for the person who me chop. So under the DPP umbrella, you have many attorneys. Now, as this pertains to the Vybz Kartel case, I could see Paula Llewellyn just handing the files over to a competent group of attorneys and saying, go ahead, present this when there is, because the dates have already been set. When the time comes for us to go before the appeal court to make our case as to why we want a retrial, it will be you guys who will have to do it, because I won't be here to do it, because I have to vacate office. Them say my extension was illegal or my extension was against the Constitution or unconstitutional, so I can't be here, so you guys are going to have to handle it. That don't mean that she's not involved. I want to give you all an example. When the original case for Vybz Kartel was brought up in court, the longest case in the history of Jamaica before the Klansman Wanda case the other day, when that original case was brought up, Paula Llewellyn was not the prosecutor on that case. Right. She said she went to court on a regular basis. She would pop in to give those attorneys from the DPP some moral support, so they know that, you know, something like the big dog is in the building and she's here to back us up, that kind of stuff. And then when the judge wanted to ask, oh man, the judge said, you know, it has come to our attention that we have a juror who has corrupted the jury pool, offering bribes and all these things. Don't know how long he's been seated with the jury. Don't know if he's talked and offered this to every juror. What do y'all think we should do? That is when they brought Paula Llewellyn in there into the judge's chambers as head of the DPP to help to make a decision. You understand? So she doesn't have to be the person per se. She could still be involved. She wasn't the person for Vybz Kartel's case. She was just somewhat involved. You see that? And it make it look like she's the person that was spearheading the case because she is the head of the DPP. Right. Now, the Constitutional Court ruled today, which was yesterday, that an extension which was granted to Paula Llewellyn following an amendment to the Constitution last year was unconstitutional. So first they made an amendment to the Constitution, and then they granted an extension to Paula Llewellyn. And they're saying that that extension she was given after the amendment was made to the Constitution, that extension is unconstitutional. King's Counsel Michael Hilton, who represented the claimants, explained that Paula Llewellyn will have to vacate office immediately. This is embarrassing. She will have to vacate office immediately based on the declaration that was granted. He said that you cannot get a stay of a declaration when the court says that the law is bad. Now, speaking on the matter of cases handling by the DPP, Senior Attorney at Law Bert Samuels, in an interview with the Gleaner, shout out to the Gleaner, he said that there is a legal provision within the law which states that acts that were done by the holder of the office, which is Paula Llewellyn, who is subsequently declared not to occupy this office, which is what just happened, those can be said to be more the less valid. In other words, whatever decisions she made before this order came down, that her extension was unconstitutional, those are still valid or can be made to be still valid. And no, as far as the Vybz Kartel case go, what people were hoping for is, because I see it all over the internet, people are celebrating already. Them say, yes, Paula gone. That means no case to them out. She won't be there to go stand before the Court of Appeal to make her case as to why she think there should be a retrial. So boom, Kartel will walk out tomorrow and the rest of the man them will walk out tomorrow. Well, if that was the case, I think you would have seen Isaac Buchanan come out already and say something. Boom, see it there? Context matters or something like that, right? You haven't seen Isaac reply to this because Isaac knows that the DPP is not Paula Llewellyn. Paula Llewellyn is an individual in the DPP, although be it she is the head of the DPP, but she is not the DPP. So things can go on without her. In other words, we have a saying in Jamaica that says, one monkey don't stop no show, right? And in this case, this is what it's going to be. One monkey don't stop no show. Them still are going to go for a retrial. The Department of Public Prosecution, with or without Paula Llewellyn, is still going to go for a retrial. Of course, it was the wish of Paula Llewellyn to do so while she was in office. And I believe that the DPP will still stand on this wish and try to make it come through, even with Paula Llewellyn no longer at the helm as the head of the DPP. Wanna get it? All right. Now, if this provision were not in place, then the administration of justice could become a standstill, is what Burt Reynolds said. Section 96, Part 2 of the Constitution states that nothing done by the Director of Public Prosecution shall be invalid by reason only that he has attained the age at which he is required by this section to vacate the office. Right. And then it went on to say that this and then those who sought to give her a second extension must be embarrassed by it. Those who sought to give her a second extension must be embarrassed by it. Me embarrassed for them. Me embarrassed for them because, man, listen, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Those who sought to give her a second extension. You know what I've always said about Paula Llewellyn? I've always said that Paula Llewellyn, somebody is pulling, she has master. She has a master or masters. I mean, I talk about a degree. And somebody is pulling her strings. And she does them great favors and makes them look good. And when she does that, they're fighting, they will swing their powers to make sure that she holds that position as long as ever because they need her there, right? Reaction to the stunning ruling today. Bert Samuel said that it is unfortunate that the DPP's tenure has come to this and that those who sought to give her a second extension, they must be embarrassed by it, being struck down. This opens the door for younger and capable hands at the office of the DPP to now enjoy upward mobility. I don't know what it is in Jamaica about these people in positions of power. You ever see them? Everybody in there look old and look like they've been in there from 1901. Everybody is aging into their position till them back start hunch, them gray up and wrinkle up. They look like they are going to the grave with their walking stick before them retire and left them position alone. And that thing, I think personally that is one of the problems with Jamaica, because it's always the same old boys view. It's always the same antiquated ideas, and nobody is coming with nothing fresh and nothing new. From you hear some of the things that they put on the table, you know, are old people something that. Because that, I know 2024 something that is no young person's mindset as to how we should move forward, right? But they keep on doing this, which in Paula Llewellyn's case is the same thing. How many extensions? How long you want to keep the woman there? I think Paula Llewellyn was given an extension in 2020 when she turned 60. And then they made an amendment to the Constitution that the individual in that position at the DPP could stay there until they are 65 and could not serve beyond the age of 65. Now, if Paula got that in 2020 when she turned 60, we're in 2024. So I'm suggesting or supposing that she is 64 years old now. So what them did I go do? Put on one next extension for one next number of years and put her in there till she is 70? Or is this a case of she only had 1 year left? Because they had already amended the Constitution to say that she could serve till she is 65, right? And not just she, but anybody in that position. It was an amendment to the Constitution. It wasn't an extension for Paula. They amended the Constitution to accommodate Paula, which is where I think the foul up is. And then the sad part about this is watching, you know, people in positions of power on the other side talk about this, and they're saying stuff like, this didn't have anything to do with the People's National Party, PNP. People's National Party was not consulted in this. There was no respect across the board. The JLP, them just took it up on their head to amend the Constitution without advice or even rapport with the other side. Like a for them Constitution and them run things and them can do what them want to do. Oh, amend the Constitution, yeah. Keep our people in there longer, yeah. That's illegal. It is actually illegal. And they went and got it approved without even addressing it with the other side. You see what I'm saying? So now that it backfired on them again, just like how the Vybz Kartel verdict backfired on them all the way at Privy Council and made our DPP in Jamaica and our appeal court in Jamaica, it made Jamaica's court system look incompetent at the highest level. Is the same way how this now makes the JLP and the DPP, Paula Llewellyn specifically, look incompetent and look power hungry and look like a set of people who will do anything, even frig up the Constitution just to please themselves, right? Reacting to the ruling, Bert Samuel said that it is unfortunate that the DPP's tenor has come to this, and that those who sought to give her a second extension must be embarrassed by it being struck down. This opens the door for younger and capable hands at the office of the DPP to now enjoy upward mobility. There are times when the old guard should step aside graciously, Samuels said. Opposition lawmaker Philip Paulwell and Peter Bunting, they filed a lawsuit last year challenging the move by the government to pass that bill that July extended the retirement age of the Auditor General and the DPP from age 60 to 65, and a possible extension from 65 to 70. So I was right, and I never read this before. They were really going to go give her a next extension because she have 1 year left, you know, or had 1 year left from the first extension, right? So now they were going to go give her another extension for retrial, 70 years old. So she would be in there another 5-6 years. Such ridiculousness. But that is how it has come to the end. Now, they contended that the extension was enacted for an improper purpose and was therefore inconsistent with the Constitution, and it was null and void. The DPP, on reaching the retirement age of 60 in September of 2020, was given a 3-year extension on the job. The DPP's tenure should have ended in September of last year. So it was a 3-year extension she get, not a 5-year extension. And her extension should have ended last year, 2023, but the new amendment to the Constitution was given an extra 2 years to retain the office. Right. So she actually has 1 year left. The claimant had sought, well, she has less than a year left because 2025 is around the corner. We're already in April of 2024, right? The DPP should not be allowed to remain in office beyond September last year when her extension ended and they were successful. So she has to go. She has to go. This is the bottom line. Wipe it a bottom there. But the claimant had sought a declaration that the DPP should not be allowed to remain in office beyond September of 2023 last year when her extension had ended, and they took it to the courts and they were successful. So Paula Llewellyn has to leave office, but according to what I see, and for the Vybz Kartel people and how this all ties in, she could still very much be influencing things from behind the scenes. I mean, we don't know what position she's going to be in next, or is she going to retire from service altogether? Even then, like Valerie Nita Robertson said, Jamaica is small and everybody know everybody. So it's not hard to still influence those who were under you at one point, right? They're still gonna go to her for advice on what they think what she thinks they should do, and she's still gonna be able to like tell them little things and, you know, probably steer that ship from even outside of the office. There's a big possibility so yes, they're still going to seek a retrial for Vybz Kartel. I don't know if they will be able to argue it effectively, but we will have to see that when they go to court at the appeal level and they stand before the appeal court. Vybz Kartel team has until a certain time to submit why there should not be a retrial, and then the DPP, Department of Public Prosecution Attorneys, have until a certain time to rebuttal that, to convince the judges at the appeal court why they think there should be a retrial, and then a decision will be made by the appeal judges if there will in fact be one or not. And I hope this helps everybody and clarifies everybody as to what is going on there with Paula Llewellyn and how it affects the Vybz Kartel case moving forward. All right, back to enjoying my Saturday or my weekend, and I hope you have a wonderful one too. Big up on yourself. Thank you for being here. I'm out. Peace.